You're doing an at-home insemination. I'm going to do a product demonstration today. So I've got some stuff here. I kind of feel like I should be like Vanna White or Home Shopping Network. Hi, thanks for clicking on Simply Tanika. I am Tanika. So I'm going to do a product demonstration today. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm going to talk about a couple of products, but the main focus of this is at-home inseminations overall, and I'm going to focus on the Stork. I always like the videos where people touch the stuff so I can get a sense of at home what it might look like. One of the videos that I saw early on was from Two Mom Crew, and I like the way that she demoed the product. So I've got some stuff here. I kind of feel like I should be like Vanna White or Home Shopping Network. All right, so let's get started. Yay! So the first thing is you're doing an at-home insemination. You've already done your OPKs, you know that you're ovulating, you know that it's go time, and now you want to introduce sperm into your body, right? However that sperm, you're collecting it. You know how you're getting it. So the first thing I want to start with is the Stork. And let's see. At-home medical device to use when trying to get pregnant. I talked to the RE about it. They weren't so keen on it. They said, yeah, we saw that. But it's a single-use kit. You see that? And it's got these devices in it. I used it once for my very first cycle on my channel when I did an at-home insemination. When you do it at home, it's not technically an IUI because IUI stands for intrauterine insemination. No, this is going to be intravaginal because you're going to put it on a cup that goes right on your cervix, and that's where the semen is going to swim from. If you did an intracervical, you'd use a catheter, go just to the tip, through the tip of the cervix, and then release the sperm into there. So this is an intravaginal at-home insemination product. Again, it's a single-use product. I'm going to open it. I opened it somewhere. There it is. That's what we wanted to get out. So here is the actual device. And this is what they call a contraceptical, which is where they want you to put the sperm. So here we have the directions of like, what is this? I remember when I used it, there was a lot of clicking. So you have to read the directions and see, you have to listen for the clicks. There's a distinct click, and that kind of freaked me out because when you're putting it in, that's how you know whether it's been released or not, and you want to make sure it is undone before you pull it out. So I'm going to put gloves on because these aren't sterilized, and again, I like to play with the product, so I do want you to see some of the bits a little closer. I will be able to edit around that. If not, hey, I'm trying to have a baby, and I gotta take my medicine. All right, here we go. We're back with the gloves on, with the device. Yeah, there is what it looks like. This part you take out, and that's what the conceptacle goes in. I did not, well, technically I did use it. There's two ways you can use it, let me say that. So you can either, if you're having intercourse with someone who produces semen, you can have them wear this, and then they're going to ejaculate in here. Then you roll that piece off. I'm not going to take it off because I don't think I can put it back. But you can see, hopefully you can see, these two rings. This is the part with the condom piece. So you roll it off, which is why it's called a condomceptical. Conceptical is what they call it. You see that there? So, and there they have it. So there is the cervical cup and the condom, the outside. So that's what we have here. The semen is going to end up in there. Then we have the cap release button, which is here. This button there is the cap release button. The plunger release button, which is there. And it tells you 2 raised dots. So let me see if I can get that in so you can see it. There you go. There's 2 dots there. And you can feel it that there's 2. Here there are 3. Even through the gloves, I can feel there are 3. So that way you know which one, you don't get it mixed up. And then there's one under here, which I'm not taking that part off. But under here, there's one more, which is the plunger piece of it. You're going to end up with the conceptacle in here. That little bit goes in there. You press on these 2 sides until it clicks. The click is important because then you know this little bugger is in there nice and tight, right? Then you are going to lay down with your legs open, obviously, and insert this in. You're going to press, let me make sure I'm reading. It goes inside of you this way. This part is going to go in through your vagina. This part remains on the outside. So you're heading up toward your cervix. If you've been doing charting, you know in general where your cervix is. Hopefully you have. If not, you want to kind of be familiar. I don't know. It's not quite like a nipple, but like a sort of a donut with an indentation in there. I would explore a little bit with your finger before if you're not sure where your cervix is, because that's where you're aiming for once you have this on. And once the semen is in there, you want to make sure you're good to go and not, you don't want to be fishing around at that point. Okay, so once it's in there, you're going to press the plunger by depressing the plunger release button with the 2 raised dots. So that's this one, the one we have with the 2 raised dots. And you want to hear the click, right? That's important. You want to hear the click because I saw some people online who didn't hear the click or weren't sure if they heard the click, and then it was gone. You only get to use it one time, so you want to pay attention to all the clicks. Unfortunately, if you make an error, this is no longer any good. It's only a one-use thing. So you're hearing the click while keeping the applicator against the cervix. Again, then you want to, it's up against, this part's up against the cervix. This is in here, it's clicked, it's locked in there. The little petals are closed when this yellow piece is out. You're going to press on the plunger button here. And you release the cervical cap by depressing. So plunger is pushing it in there. And this one you have a little bit of a wiggle room. So the plunger, you push it in. You can, if you think it's not on your cervix, you can move it a little bit. You should be able to feel, right? And so once you're sure that it's on the cervix, that's when it's go time. Then you want to, you're going to hit the 3 button. The 3 dot button, remember that we went over before. You're going to hit that. That is going to release it. Again, you want to hear that click. And it's pretty audible. It actually gave me anxiety when I read about the click because I thought, oh my God, it's going to be like snapping inside of my vagina. It doesn't hurt, but it just is like a plastic clicking sound, like the end of a pin kind of click. It doesn't, I wasn't sure like it was going to clamp, open, whatever it was going to do. So never fear. It's a audible click, but it's not a scary click, if that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, once that's done, this is then released and it's holding on to your cervix. It's a cervical cup or cap. It's holding onto your cervix. Then you just want to pull this out. I'm going to say, even though it's a one-time use, pull it out slowly just in case, because you don't want this cup to be coming with it. So if it feels like it's dragging, try to push it back there, right? So you're going to pull it out slowly. As you pull it out, a little string is going to come out at the end of it because that's how you're going to remove the cup. I believe the directions say like 4 to 6 hours. I think I left mine in overnight. I did it in the evening. But follow the directions. Don't do what I did. So that way, you know, that's the safest, most hygienic way. Yeah, it says 4 to 6 hours. So yeah, you've got it in there. This, you then throw away your $69 tool. It's done. It's a one-time use, right? So that's done. Yeah, so that's how you use the device. I wasn't a fan of it. Again, I was very nervous using it. Again, I was worried about the click. It wasn't a big click. But after I got the semen in the little cup, I just kept having like this anxiety that I was going to somehow, it was going to be like a Laverne and Shirley episode, or if you're not old enough for that, a Friends episode, I don't know. It was going to fling out and all over everywhere, and I was going to lose the semen, which then, you know, one shot, it was gone. So that was that. Another way to do a home insemination is with this soft cup. So these are actually menstrual cups. I personally use these. I'm a hiker, and it's good for the environment, right? You don't have like tampons and pads clogging up in waste fills. It's just you pour it out, and you can use it again. These say single use. I've used them again because I'm out hiking and I've not had any issue with it. But anyway, here's what it looks like, the soft cup. It's pretty flat when you take it out. There is, if you're using it as a menstrual cup, is where your flow is going to go, and that gets filled up, and then you take it out. It hooks onto the top of your cervix. So a lot of women have used these for insemination purposes, right? So they will either have their partner ejaculate into here, or if they're using an unknown donor from a bank, they'll put the vial in here. That way it's all close, because it's I pulled it apart, but if you don't pull it apart, it's all compact. So it's already close to the cervix, like once you get it in and insert it. You bend it this way, so because it's pretty wide, you bend it this way. Obviously, you want the semen to stay in here while you're bending it. And you kind of go up one-sided in, and then pop it in. This part you're going to be able to feel with your finger, so you can kind of guide it and make sure it grabs on to your cervix, like it goes in, and no clicking, though. There's no clicking. I don't know why I made that noise. It's quiet, but it goes on there, and then it's in, and it's nice and tight. And you can leave it up to 12 hours, because that's what the box is recommending for your period. So with the semen in there, you can leave it on for 12 hours. And then you take it back out. So what if your partner doesn't want to ejaculate in here? Or what if you're worried about just getting the sperm in there? There are other ways to get it in. So if you have a known donor, or your partner who will be providing sperm, you want a sterile cup. This is not a sterile cup. This is actually for my HPT and OPK testing, but for our demonstration purposes. But you want them to ejaculate into a sterile cup. And then there's sometimes you can use a syringe, right? So this is here. It has like the different volume that you want to take up, and it corresponds. So if it's like 2.5 or 5 milliliter, or 2 teaspoons, wherever you are, whatever system you're using to count, you can use this to take the semen out, right? Pull it out of here, and then put it into here, right? Makes sense? So some people are like, well, what about if I waste some of the sperm? No. It's a good point. So what some women have recommended is using PreSeed. And when I use the Stork at home, I'm horrible, man, away. My stuff's falling all over. When I used the Stork at home, I used the PreSeed. A couple of reasons for the PreSeed. One, if you have hostile cervical mucus, this is going to help neutralize it. There's also another way to neutralize it. There's a baking soda douche that's in this book called Making Babies. I have it, hang on. It's in this book, Making Babies, where they talk about the baking soda douche as a way to help if it's too acidic, then you're going to end up killing all the sperm, which is obviously not good. So anyway, PreSeed is also another way to help. It helps make the environment less hostile. And so I use the PreSeed because you don't want to have the semen there and then be in a hostile environment and then they all die before they make it past the cervix, right? That defeats the whole purpose. I know some women use it just in general when they're having, regular sex, if they feel like they don't have enough cervical mucus. In that book, it talks about not doing that, about helping your body create the cervical mucus naturally. So some ways to do that are the evening primrose oil or grapefruit juice, like leading up to your ovulation to help your body, because if it's making its own, that's obviously ideal. The baking soda douche helps if there's any hostility. However, if you would like to use a PreSeed, it's your body, you can use it. So I just want to show you what that looks like. So it comes, wait. There are 3 packets in each one. There are a total of 9 applicators in here. So 3 of these, 3 times 3 is 9, right? Okay. We're all there. So you take these, and it has like the different measurements of how much. Can you see that? I don't know if you're gonna. There we go. Different measurements of how much you may dispense. So you put that on there. I've already punched this out, but the first time you buy it, it has like a little tab in here, similar to most ointments, and you punch out the foil. You screw this on this way, right? So you see that it's threaded. Whoa. You screw that on here, and you squeeze it in there and just kind of pull it down. Can you see that coming down? There we go. So I'm not going to pull it all the way down, but you get the gist of it. So you have that there. Again, you're going to lay on your back and open your legs and insert it vaginally. It's a plunger, so you press it all the way in. I'm just going to press it all the way down into here. You press it all the way down, and then that's in your cervix, or in your vagina. So you have that there. And then now that we have something in here, I can show you how. So what some women will do is put a little PreSeed inside of the syringe first, so that it's coated with PreSeed, so that they're not wasting sperm. So let's see, can you see that? All right, so there's some PreSeed inside of the syringe. So the idea is to coat it, so that now all the sides of the syringe have PreSeed on it, and that way when you suck the sperm in there, you're not wasting any, right? And so then you'll either put it into your soft cup here, or if you're using the STORK, you'll put it in there. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, so those are the mechanics of how it all works. Now, here's the 411 on the STORK. Here's the 411 on the STORK. I wasn't a big fan. of it. It was awkward and uncomfortable. It's already nerve-wracking during the insemination process, and again, I was really nervous about losing the semen, and just, it's obviously not romantic. I don't know that any of this is romantic. Speaking of romance, they do recommend that you have an orgasm after you give yourself a home insemination. So if that's you and your partner, however, they recommend that you do that and then go to sleep. The idea is that the contracting of the vaginal walls and the uterus helps the sperm swim faster. Try it at home. Keep a little romance in the baby making process. But yeah, so wasn't a big fan of this. But you know, there are couples who have been TTC for a while and are tired of having sex, so they use this. There are other couples who know that the semen's not going to swim as far or as fast, so it gets it right up to the cervix, so it doesn't have to go all the way through the vagina. Whatever your reason, that's my experience with it. Wasn't a big fan. I would recommend just skipping all of that, $69 business and putting it in here and having it pushed up against your cervix and leaving it in overnight. It's a lot cheaper. I don't remember how much these are, but it's not crazy. And you can use your flexible spending account, FSA card, if you have that at work, to purchase this. I don't know if you can do that with the STORK or not. But I want to say maybe like $15 here in New York. So you can look online though, I don't know. But it's not crazy expensive, and you get 12 of them, right? And so definitely more economical to just put the sperm in there, put it in overnight and sleep on it, forget about it after you have the orgasm, and wake up in the morning and just pop it out. All right, so there is my long overdue how to use the STORK home insemination advice and my personal experience with the STORK. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you know anyone who is thinking about a home insemination or might need information on the Stork or Soft Cup or PreSeed, please share this video with them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Remember to click on the bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. I think that's it. Baby dust to you all.